back to another episode of the Amateur Hour Podcast. I'm Jacob and Adam is joining me today.
Hashtag more Adam.
And we're going to talk about the MLS Cup Final today. And the final is in 2 days. It is on Sunday. And obviously we're very excited. We're pretty big TFC fans ourselves. And we're going to preview this one as best we can. We're going to try to not be biased. But we're going to preview it. And, I mean, just right into it. Who do you think's looking better right now?
Unbiased, I think Toronto FC's looking pretty strong. Their new like attack without Altidore has looked very strong. Pozuelo staying up top, Endo on the right, Benazet on the left, and
Benazet was a great signing.
Benazet was a good pickup. Do we have him on loan?
I'm not sure.
I think it's a loan deal.
I think it is from Guingamp.
Yeah. Besides that, Endo's looked pretty good in the off season. He was off and on during the season, but
Benazet is on loan.
He's on loan, yeah. But
great pickup.
Overall, TFC I think have a good attack to score them some goals in the final. Mm-hmm. We have underrated attacker in Mullins coming off the bench who's done well this year. Besides that, I try not to be biased, as I am a TFC fan, but I think they are looking pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, TFC finished the season on an 11-game unbeaten run, and it's only continued into the postseason. They've been tremendous in the postseason. 5-1 against DC United. They took down the 1 seed in in New York City FC, and then they beat one of the favorites, Atlanta United. New York and Atlanta were away games. Mm-hmm. They looked good in the New York game. They didn't look great in the Atlanta game. I'm going to be honest. It wasn't that great of a performance, but they got the goals that they needed. Mm-hmm. I think in terms of squad, I'd probably, unbiased again, opt for TFC's squad. I think their 11 is better. Mm-hmm. Altidore might be back for Sunday. Do you have any word on that?
He definitely won't be starting, what I've heard. Could be coming off the bench, could also not be dressing.
And another big one is Omar Gonzalez. Is there any word on him?
He's healthy, but really I don't see a reason why to change it up at this point.
Really?
You think taking out Mavinga or
Mavinga's a staple. I think Simon you could
think Simon. I thought Simon played tremendously.
I think Simon was pretty good,
game,
but
right?
Omar Gonzalez is perennial MLS defender. He's a great player. I think when it comes
proven.
It's the big game. This is it. I think you play your best players.
Yeah.
Omar Gonzalez, if he's fit. He was fit for the Atlanta game and didn't play. So I think he needs to play this game. Mm-hmm. If you ask me, he's the best center back on the team. He should be playing. In terms of, everywhere else, I like TFC's midfield a bit, other than, Nicholas Ladero. He's a very good player, but holding wise, I like Osorio, I like Bradley, I'm a fan of Delgado. I think that trumps Svensson and Roldan for Seattle. Mm-hmm. Wing play, you could argue between Benazet and Jordan Morris, because Jordan Morris has been spectacular in the last few weeks. He's had a great playoff so far. So that one's a bit tight. What I will say is that I'm a bit afraid of Rui Diaz up top for Seattle. That's the key player, I think, in this game.
For Seattle, yeah. I have a question for you.
What?
How important was the signing of Quentin Westberg to this Toronto FC team?
It's immense, because we saw last season and at the start of this season just how prone Alex Bono was to mistakes, just simple mistakes continuously. Mm-hmm. I've been to a few games where he's cost them results.
Goals, yeah.
Just very easy shots that he should be saving. Mm-hmm. There was one at the start of the year against New England where he basically came out way off his line on a ball that was a tight angle and just slid, and the guy just clipped it over him. I think it was Sapong who clipped it over him. Just prone to mistake after mistake, and Westberg's come in and he's done it. He's done a job. Yeah. And he was fantastic against Atlanta. He was fantastic against New York, and he was man of the match against DC United in a 5-1 win. That just goes to show how good he's been. And I mean, it's no secret he's part of the success. TFC did not start well. Well, no. They started well, then they fell off a lot, and then they just picked it up near the end of the season. I think like that Benezet signing really kicked them on that, and like guys like Endo coming along. I think Endo started 6 games in a row now for TFC. Players like that. We're really fond of Richie Larea. That was a big pickup last off season, and I gotta like the TFC squad in this one. Like there's a question about Roman Torres coming back for Seattle, which will be huge if he can start the final. I mean, this is the 3rd time in 4 years that this is the final matchup, but it's the first time of those 3 that it will be in Seattle. And I think even though it's in Seattle, I think TFC can still get it done.
Let's go to Seattle's goalkeeping now. Stefan Fry, a TFC reject, you would call him.
Yeah. I don't know about reject.
He was
a former TFC player.
He was outstanding in the first finals they played
4 years ago.
4 years ago, less so 3 years ago. No, 3 years ago.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago and 3 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Well, there wasn't a lot. 3 years ago, he was immense.
He was the reason they won. Clearly,
like they Seattle had like one shot all game, if any.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was tremendous. That Altidore header that he saved you still see it everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And the year after, I mean, Seattle gave nothing again.
Yeah,
They literally opposed TFC or provided no challenge for TFC in either final and got lucky to get to penalties in the first one.
I am pleasantly surprised how well Seattle is doing after losing Clint Dempsey, because he was always their main guy. Not over like last 2-3 years, but before that, right?
Yeah.
And I don't understand how they keep being so good.
Well, they picked up Rui Diaz in the last couple of years, who's been very good. Nicholas Ladero has been phenomenal. Jordan Morris is developing; he's getting even better. Like as time goes on, like there are decent players around the team. Like yeah, there's for sure. They picked up Kim Keehee, who's a quality center back. He's been pretty good for Seattle. There's good players everywhere. I mean, there's a reason Seattle's in the final. It's not a fluke. They took down the Giants, LAFC. Like, did anybody see LAFC not winning the MLS Cup this year? No. Like, they were superb all year. Vela was tremendous, but they took them down.
How important was that win going into the MLS Cup final? Beating one of the best teams ever in MLS and one of the best player seasons they've seen. How important is that going into the finals?
Well, I mean, obviously it's important because you got to win to get to the final, first of all. But, I mean, psychologically, that's huge. You beat them, you can beat anybody, and now all of a sudden they're at home.
Yeah.
Like, if Atlanta had won that game against CFC, it'd be in Atlanta. But at home, that's a tough stadium to play in. That's a loud stadium in Seattle. Like, we've seen the Seahawks dominate there for so long. Maybe not so much this year, but, like, great stadium to play in. TFC though, same thing. They took down Atlanta, who are also one of the best MLS teams of all time. Took them down. They took down the 1 seed. Like, both these teams feel like they can beat anybody. I am sure both these teams are looking at themselves like the favorites in this game. Like both teams have to be confident going in. Nobody is going to come out scared. Like both teams are going to go in trying to score goals. I think it's going to be a confident game from both teams.
I'm very excited to watch. This should be a very excited. Good game.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. This is two teams who have like excellent attacks, like lots of quality up top, lots of flair up top, can make goals happen. I'm more inclined to say TFC just because I personally think their starting 11 is a little bit better, and I also like what they have coming off the bench. Like Nick DeLeon, been great.
Oh my god,
been great. Like that goal against Atlanta in the conference final.
Richie Larea, if he doesn't
I don't think he'll start because Aro's been so good. In the MLS regular season, like based off his rating over the course of the season, he was rated as the best right back in the MLS.
Yep.
You got guys. Patrick Mullen's been okay, but I really like DeLeon and Larea coming. I think like Larea was hugely undervalued when we signed him, and he's like starting for Canada now.
And how versatile both those players are. Right back, right wing, center mid.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like Larea. If we need an attacking sub, you could throw him on the wing or even a fullback just to get a bit better of an option. And if Josie Altidore as well is coming off the bench, like there's goals. We know Josie scored the winning goal 2 years ago, right? But there's goals in both teams. It's going to be close. I personally I'm going to take TFC on this one.
As am I.
And we'll wrap it up. We'll see how the game goes. It's on a Sunday. We're both very excited to see how that goes.
I'm sure we'll do a podcast on after it too.
We can review it after, see what we think.